Well, let me tell you something first. Man, sometimes I quit. Dad, why did you buy that? Like, okay, he bought a fidget spinner on Amazon, and
Raise a hype beast, bro.
just like,
That's fidgety.
dude, you really don't need that. Gosh, there's a bunch of others.
Today's episode, everyone, is us three talking about how our Filipino upbringing influenced our starting points in our personal development, finance, and fitness journeys. So, just to give everyone a little bit of context, I am Gen Zero because American, because I'm technically not even American. Like I'm an American citizen, but I immigrated from the Philippines when I was 6 years old to America. So not technically, like actually, my kids would be first generation Filipino-Americans. Nathan Bustos, the bustiest man in the world, stay busty, my friends,
Yes,
is
sir.
a generation one Filipino. Because I think
Right.
his parents, like, you tell your story, bro. What's your background?
Yeah, my dad came here from the Pampanga when he was a teenager, and then my mom came here from Manila when she was like 6 or 7. So they were born there, came here, and I was born here. So yeah, that's my story.
Yes. So he's first generation. So right from the get go, I'm going to have a very different experience and upbringing from Nathan. And to go even more to the more generations in America side, we have Matt Fajardo, who's like 20 generations in. Like, tell us about your background real quick.
So my mom, she was actually born in the Philippines, but she moved to the U.S. like when she was a baby, like through like the Navy. Like both my grandfathers joined the Navy, came to the U.S. and but my grandpa, on my dad's side, met my grandma in San Diego. So like she was already born. She was born in San Diego. That had my dad. Then I'm basically super American, I'd say.
Oh, okay. So wait, you're third generation, second, third.
It's confusing because it's just depending on which side you're talking about.
Okay, all right, for sure.
But
So
And
yeah,
that's super typical. That Matt's relatives were in the Navy. That's
yeah.
so, and from San Diego, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Navy base down there.
That's definitely a stereotype.
all
Yeah.
right. But getting into my story, so I feel like in some ways I was very advantaged, and in some ways another way I was very disadvantaged. So let's start off with the advantage first. I had to I saw my parents do a lot of hard work, especially in the first 3 years of us living here, just because we didn't have money. We didn't have US dollars. We had pesos. So we needed that USD. So my mom had to work 2 jobs, I think, in our um, first 2 years, maybe. I might be getting the details wrong, but I know for sure she worked 2 jobs. And back then, she was the only one with a job just because my dad was still trying to transition into the American workforce. And my mom, the reason why we came over here is because my mom got a job as a nurse over here. Very stereotypical, as stereotypes on stereotypes. But so right away, I saw the struggle that a lot of immigrants or even like lower income, I guess you could say, people, because my my brother, and my dad used to just like drop off my mom at her work, and then just like drive around LA. That's where I'm from, and just waiting for her to get off work because we didn't know how to like do anything. I barely spoke English when I came here. My brother like did not speak English either, and my dad was he spoke English already because the official educating language of the Philippines is English. So he was good, but I don't know if I should go into this. But this dude didn't even have his license, so it was real dangerous from the start. Like it was,
Dang.
He's like
it
you.
was so sketch.
He's like
He's
you.
like me. He's like me. But I like a lot less risk for me, right? Because I don't actually drive without a license. But this dude was like, my mom had to go to work from Orange County because we're staying with my aunts. So she had to go from Orange County to Santa Monica to work. So it was a real struggle, but that taught me how resilient people can be in the face of very in terms in the face of great adversity. So from the get go, I was like, damn, like if I really want to do something in life, I really gotta work hard. I haven't always executed like that, but I know it. But yeah, so from personal development aspect, I feel like that's been ingrained in me. Whether I execute it or not is another question, but I feel like I started ahead in that perspective. So that was my story with the advantages that I personally got being a Gen Zero Filipino-American. So what about you, Nate? What do you think your advantages were in terms of like personal development, or whatever your perceived advantages were in terms of being a first generation American?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like for me, definitely learned a lot from my parents because they really had to grind to get to where they are now. Nothing was really handed to them. Both of them are nurses. You know, I might be a nurse myself. I grew up them wanting me to be a nurse. Uh, but yeah, they really had to grind it out in school. And as immigrants themselves, they face different cultural barriers, language, uh, and just the American lifestyle, definitely. Just everything that I adapt to. So learning how they made it from zero to where they are now, that's always inspired me, and uh, that's definitely translated to me carrying out myself in school or in athletics or in like this podcast or any extracurricular thing I do. So I definitely look at their story and their upbringing as something to motivate me. I'm definitely privileged enough to be born in this country and have all the rights to citizenship and growing up in a stable family with them having stable careers as nurses. So uh, those I've looked at those blessings as opportunities. So yeah. What about you, Matt?
Hold up, I got something to add though. All right, I have a question. Nate, do
Yeah.
you feel like you have like there's this so personally I have this thought where whatever I do is never gonna be as hard as what my parents went through. So I just gotta suck it up. Like this, what I'm
Yeah.
doing right now that I perceive as hard is infinitely not hard compared to what my parents did to get us started and to get us well off in America, coming from zero to wherever they are now. Like they gave me a very good life. So like, do you feel that not burden? It's not a burden at all. Do you feel that that
Like gratitude
influence,
almost.
that gratitude? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like whatever I go through, it definitely won't be as hard. I have that same feeling because they had to go through. I know my dad went to like some ghetto ass high school in Pomona, like with a bunch of gang members and stuff, like drugs and all that. So, and then my mom, uh, she grew up in like downtown LA, kind of more lower income, a lot of immigrants from Central America, Philippines, Mexico, Honduras, So they definitely came from more humble beginnings, and they've definitely had to go through harder stuff. So I'm definitely appreciative of what they had to go through because it gives me this kind of, I
Perspective.
don't know, motivation to just that if they went through it, I can go through anything kind of thing. It's definitely something to not be negative about. It's definitely be grateful for. Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Matt, you want to go into your
yeah.
spiel,
Yeah, I
your
mean,
background?
mine's kind of similar to Nate, where I'm like looking at my family's past, like the sacrifices they made, because both like I said, both of my grandfathers joined the Navy to come to the U.S. to have that better life for their family and future family. So like looking at that and like the sacrifices they made, and like leaving like everything they know to come to like a new place like where they don't know anyone. Like I now like I always look back and I just don't want that sacrifice to go to waste because they did literally everything for us. Like growing up, like I went to Catholic school my entire life and I was very fortunate to. And both my grandparents, um, they like helped my parents a lot to put me and my two siblings like through schooling. So just looking at their work ethic, like always keeping family first, and just like those like key what's it called,
Values.
those key values, like keeping those values strong, like in myself and like for like my future generations to come. So I just like want to like keep that uh, like in my life.
For sure. Yeah, but I definitely feel, yeah. So a common thing that we all said was that from struggle comes a great perspective that others would not have gotten. So like it puts into perspective what in life is really important and how far you're willing to go to advantage those that you care about and like set them up for their futures.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but definitely, I feel like with coming from these immigrant roots, they kind of had to choose careers that they kind of were forced into in order to, like become a citizen. Because that was a definitely big thing with the Filipinos. They had to become nurses. The reason they were able to come to the U.S. was because they're nurses.
yeah, like my
So
mom.
yeah, so definitely their shift that definitely translates into how they think of personal development, finance, all those
Yeah.
aspects. Because I, they want us to be nurses now, or but we're growing up in a different time where we can basically choose what we want to be, and we should choose that instead. So we'll talk about that a little later, but that's
No,
just
let's
something
get, dude.
out
Let's
there.
get into it now, man. This is really interesting. But yeah, I totally see your point. So a lot of like the things they impart on us, like, oh, you got to go to college, you got to go to med school, you got to go to nursing school. It's it's what worked for them, and it's
Yeah.
what gave them the ability and the tools to give us better lives. So it would just make sense that they would try to push us towards that those avenues because it worked for them. Why wouldn't it work for us? But the thing is, we've grown up in this environment and we know a lot, like we've experienced a lot more nuance than what they preach to us. Like there are a lot of roads to our goals, and you know, med school, nursing might get us there, but maybe not. So for us, they have set that safety net to where we can take a lot more risk with our um, investments, with our decisions, because we know, like, you know, we always got med school as a backup. You only hear that from Asians. Med school is a backup.
Did your guys' parents like impose that idea of like going into like the medical field?
100%. Actually, Nate, you go first, bro. Like, because you're
Uh,
struggling with this right now.
well, for me, they've always suggested to go into nursing because it's stable and pretty good pay, and you can get a job anywhere, and nurses will always be needed. So there's that. They've always like emphasized like going into engineering because you can get a job with that. You know, besides that, it's like engineering or nursing. They always applaud people that go into those fields. And then, I mean, you can always be a mailman, work for the government. That's pretty stereotypical. Had a couple mailmen
Yeah.
Filipino.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's interesting because like my parents like they didn't like really impose like anything like major wise. Uh, yeah, because like my brother, he's like a business and finance is really good, and I'm like the complete opposite with the arts and going to film. So that's just like very like stereotypical.
Yeah, can you talk about that a little bit more? Like, what do you think it is about your parents that allowed them to kind of break from that mold and allow you to break from that mold?
Yeah. I think growing up, they like always just like wanted like me and like my siblings to just be happy, but like to still be like a good like contributing member to society. So like when it came to like my time to like apply to colleges, choose my major and all that, like they really like gave me like a lot of uh like freedom to choose like what I wanted to do. And like during my senior year, like I wasn't really sure because because I know like I did not want to go into like medical school or anything like that, and I didn't even know if I wanted to do film. Um, uh, but like they were still like very supportive of me like throughout that entire journey of like finding like what I really wanted to do.
That's sweet, man. Holy
Really
crap.
cool. I feel like definitely there are a lot of this is a growing movement in like with Asians and Filipinos where they're choosing their passions and they're trying to make create a movement where we're trying to reverse what our parents have always told us, or, you know, like with Wong Fu and filmmaking. You know, you have all these Filipino artists now, like AJ Raphael, doing their thing. You know, you have a there's just like a huge movement with all these influencers showing that you can still be successful and no matter what you do in this country. So yeah,
Yeah, man. Hey, that's a good message, Bruce. Because yeah, I feel like my parents, as I've gotten older, have been a lot more relaxed with what I do. Because initially they were against me becoming even a physical therapist because it wasn't a nurse, engineer, lawyer, or
Dang.
doctor, right? And it's still in the medical field,
Yeah.
but they're just like, oh my god, like what are you doing in physical therapy? Like um, the jobs, like doctors are much higher paid. Nurses is a lot more stable, like stuff like that. And like the work life balance, apparently to them, the work life balance is a lot better. But yeah, so like from my perspective, my parents are definitely softening up to the idea that I could pursue whatever I want. And even now, like they're supporting me, like starting my own like stuff, like Simplify Fitness. They were very supportive. They got me my camera just because I was like, yo, mom, dad, like I really want to start blah blah blah, and they were just like, okay, like this is, we're gonna give you one thing or like three things. We're gonna give you camera, tripod, and the mic, and they just let me
there
run
you
away
go.
with it.
Nice.
So yeah, they're definitely softening up to more entrepreneurial um, endeavors.
Did you help them like get to that point of looking at different avenues of like finance and like making your own life?
Yeah, so for sure, I definitely did just because especially like last year, I showed them that I had, I was very driven and I knew what I wanted to do in terms of like I could accomplish what I set out to accomplish, and they saw this from how vigorously I studied fitness and kinesiology even before um, college. So like whenever they would talk about medical stuff and like anatomy, physiology stuff, I could keep up with a doctor and a nurse, and so they were like, oh,
Sheesh.
like he's he's out here, he's really out here with that.
Learning things.
Yeah, and I was teaching them stuff about
Yeah.
how like exercise physiology works and that type of motor learning, how those things happen, and even more recently, how finance works. Like I've been helping my parents with their retirement accounts, so like they know that I have a lot of tools in my tool belt, or I have a lot of the necessary tools in my tool belt to be able to pursue um, riskier endeavors. But just because like they're risky doesn't mean that it's for sure going to go south, right? There's a bigger downside, but there's also that really amazing, huge upside potential. So they saw that and they were like, "Yo, you know what? We believe in the probabilities just because of the tools that you've shown us that you have. That you're probably skewed more towards the positive end of that." So for sure, help them out a little bit.
Hey, so since we're on all this finance talk right now, let's dive deep into uh, kind of our upbringing with finances. Like, what did our parents teach us about money, investing, saving? Because for me, my parents didn't really know much about investing. I think they knew what a Roth IRA account was, but they never got one started. Like they could have easily gotten one started when they were like 20 years old because my dad was working already at like McDonald's at age like 15 or something like that. So definitely could have started something early. But once I mentioned it to them and how you can definitely build wealth in this country super easily through passive investing, uh, definitely opened their eyes because they never really envisioned it. They like the way they spend money is not really. They don't try to invest it. That's what I've learned. Like they're more into the spending part, which I've realized. And especially even with saving, they've always said, "Oh, you got to save your money." But like, what's the point of saving your money in a 0.001% interest rate Chase savings account? I think that you're going to lose money in the long run due to inflation. So they never really taught me the importance of investing. What about you guys?
Oh, dude. Okay, can I go into that real quick?
Yeah.
So, I feel like the reason that they emphasized more of the spending part was because, like, they had it tough at the beginning, right? Like, they couldn't
Yeah.
do all that stuff. So, of course, when they started getting paid the big bucks because they're working in the medical field, they're able to accommodate that with lifestyle inflation. So they have that purchasing power now. And what do they do when you've been deprived of all like your things just because you're pinching pennies from here, pinching pennies from there? You're gonna buy everything, or like at least you're gonna buy a lot more things that you wanted to, like more luxuries. And
It's just like
yeah,
those NBA players, when they
yeah,
receive that, those 21-year-olds, 20-year-olds receiving that first, $3 million paycheck in the mail or in their checking account. It's like, whoa, what do I do with all this? I just spend it now, you know,
yeah,
because
for
they
sure.
never
And also,
never grew up with that much money. So yeah,
yeah, but also there's a big like America's like such a consumer market. So like there are so many ads encouraging us to spend, and there's no wonder that without the background in finance that maybe other families have had, that they could avoid those traps of like, oh, it's a 70% sale, but that's just advertising. Nothing's really on sale. That's just to get you in the door and start looking at stuff and stuff like that.
hmm
But yeah, for me, in terms of finance, I feel like this was where I was disadvantaged from being Gen Zero, just because my parents didn't know how the American financial system worked, and like how could they? Like they came here when my dad was probably like, huh, do some quick maths here. I think he was around 40 already, and my mom was like late 30s. So it's really hard to learn a whole new financial system and like investment, saving accounts, retirement accounts, all of that when you're so new into a country and you're pinching pennies. So yeah, um, they were eventually able to like learn about a lot about that stuff, but um, they definitely, for some reason, like they never really talked about that with me. Like I don't know, one reason or another, I don't know, but they did, since they had such a huge drive to give me the best life possible. They did encourage that spending behavior, which came in the form of, oh, like you want this? Yeah, we can get this for you. Just because they're trying to provide us with things that they never had. So yeah, I was definitely sucked into that consumer mindset instead of that investor mindset, just from my upbringing. Yeah. What about Fadge?
Yeah, like for me, growing up, my parents like they always like told me to like save your money, like always have cash on you. It's just like simple stuff like that. Like they never got into the like ideas of like investing. Like I like learned about like the Roth IRA from you guys. Um,
From Nate. From
uh,
Nate.
yeah, from Nate. Shout out to Nate.
thanks for the shout out.
So like now like I'm doing like my own research, uh, like learning more about like Roth IRA, learning more about investing, and then like learning about like credit cards like on my own. Because like they didn't like want me to get a credit card, but like this past summer, like I like convinced them to like let me get my own. And like so from like doing like all that research and learning by myself, I'm like telling them to do like certain things with my younger sister, such as like starting like a Roth IRA when she can, and like so she could be set up for the future. Um, yeah, so there's like a lot of like self learning from
Yeah,
that,
that's awesome. So there's
yeah,
still
and
like
like
some stuff that you have to learn. Sorry, continue.
oh yeah, and like now I'm paying attention to their spending habits and just like learning like what I shouldn't do, and maybe like I just like talk about it with them a little bit, but yeah, just paying attention to those things and like why like we're in like a certain situation.
Yo, can we talk about that? Can we talk
Gotta
about?
talk
Okay,
about
so
spending habits, bro. We
yeah,
gotta
we
talk
got to
about
talk
spending
about our
habits,
spending
big
habits,
time,
man.
bro. Let me tell you something first, man. Sometimes I quit. Dad, why did you buy that? Like, okay, he bought a fidget spinner on Amazon, man.
Raise a hype beast, bro.
Just like,
That's fidgety.
dude, you really don't need that. Oh my gosh. there's a bunch of other stuff. I can't think of any, but like sometimes my mom, man, like she'll be buying ice cream all the time for me and my brother, and I'm like, Mom, don't buy me ice cream because I'm just gonna eat it all. But then if you just calculate how much ice cream she buys like each week, it just all adds up. You gotta like definitely learning about personal finance and investing. I've really kind of become more conscious and more aware of my current spending habits, and that's definitely influenced me in how I spend my money. Because I'm definitely way more frugal than they are, but it's because I'm broke and I don't make a lot of money. But I definitely want to continue living this frugal lifestyle as I build my career and for the rest of my life because I don't need everything. What about you guys?
Right. Yeah, no, dude. Like,
Dude, same.
my parents' spending habits are whack. Oh my god. Let me roast my parents. Like they've done everything for me, but let me roast them real quick though. Oh my gosh. Like these dudes would like buy Coke, like you know, okay, so hold on. So they would buy like cans of Coke and like it's a double like negative. Wait, that doesn't turn into a positive. Because number one, they're spending a lot of money just on Coke per month. That's like a recurring expense that they could be investing into Coke, the freaking KO, like the stock.
Exactly.
Right?
That's
and
a
it
high
pays
dividend.
them dividends.
High dividend.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Invest in the products that people love. Like, but
Don't buy
anyways, yeah, don't buy it. But oh my god, what? I had something else. But yeah, their spending habits are like very like I said, consumerism. They're about buying liabilities rather than buying assets. So let me give you an example. We have 4 cars as a family. Nate and Matt, y'all know that I live in like a 2-bedroom apartment in LA that doesn't even have like 4 parking lots for us. So what my brother has to do is he has to wake up every morning for the street cleaning to move all our cars. And you know what? Those 2 cars on the street, that's all the moving that they do. They don't get driven because number one, my brother's at home. My brother's at home, online school, freaking his online law school. Number 2, like, I don't have a license. I can't drive. So what are those other 2 cars doing? Nothing.
So get your license, man.
Bro,
oh my god.
Sophomore year, you remember you texted us a picture after you got a car?
Yeah, bro. I was the first one with a car, and I'm the last. I haven't even gotten my license yet. Oh my god, no! But it's like things like this that just add up. It's not just like one thing. Like that was one. Like it's a pretty big example because cars are depreciating, like hella. Like they depreciate by a lot. But it's just little things here and there that I see that I'm just like, why you do that, huh? Like why you do that? Do you need that? Like why are you eating out 5 out of 7 days of the week? Like you don't need to do that, dog. Like what are you doing?
Exactly.
But yeah, just like, but I understand the context and like why they do this. It's because they can and it's their money.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
But they just don't realize how they can turn that into some asset.
Right. It's an opportunity cost type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't like. I don't think like opportunity cost is at the forefront of their minds. It's just like how opportunity cost is at the forefront of me, Matt's, and Bustos' mind. Just because we know that if we spend something, if we spend some amount of money on something that we just like don't even use, that could be money that could be going towards us building our portfolios and compounding.
Let me shout out. So I was like, I found these Beats Pros, right, for $170. They're usually $250. I posted it in our little group chat. Do I get the black ones or the navy ones? And here comes our boy Chris Jung, and he's saying $170 worth of Neo, and I'm like, all right, I like that mindset.
That's right.
But I did think about buying these for like at least 3 months, so they're definitely worth it. They've enhanced my quality of life, so I don't regret this purchase.
Exactly. At least it's not like impulse purchases, you know.
No, I thought about it, and I waited until I could find the lowest price. So,
shout out to CRS Chris. You know,
man.
Oh man.
Exactly. And I texted JV the same thing, and he was like, "Dude, just buy some of Apple. There's Beats in Apple, or Apple owns Beats, you know."
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, Faj, what were you gonna say?
I appreciate that mindset.
Yeah, so like when you guys like buy something, like do you guys like also like think like super hard about like buying anything?
I
Yeah.
feel like pain.
Oh,
Like
bro.
I'm like cringing. Like every time I go to Costco to get groceries, I'm like,
Oh,
ooh,
I hate
like
it so
Costco
much.
could be paying me dividends right now with this money, man. Like
Hey,
it's wild.
that's why I go to Trader Joe's, man. They keep the cost low.
Yeah, like stuff like
I don't
okay,
know,
so
because
like
the thing with Costco, I realize I just always spend way more, and then because it's in bulk, I just end up eating all of it, so it just goes out quicker. You know what I mean?
oh
So,
shoot. So yeah, but I plan my meals out, so it's like
oh yeah, that's
Costco
smart.
is the best
Yeah,
for me,
that's
but I
that's
still
super
go
smart.
in there even with essentials, and I'm just like, ooh, this hurts. This hurts my
Yeah.
soul. Like
Mhm.
on like a it hurts. This hurts on a spiritual level. Like
Dude,
you know,
it hurts.
Yeah,
yeah.
man. You know when people be like, "Oh yeah, I got that new. Look at that new." Nah, man, I get way more. What do you call it? Excitement from seeing that go into my Fidelity account. When I see like $100 being transferred in, I'm just like, it's like
Yes,
it's like a,
it feels so damn good. Ugh. It's hype
feels
because you
like I
know
just
that
ate
money's gonna make it
chicken
like
and
make
waffles,
you
man.
money. Oh my god. Oh no, is this a
Chicken,
gambling addiction? I don't think so. It's
No,
not it's not gambling at all. But like, if you do it correctly, that's the thing. Especially if you put it into an index fund, it's not gambling.
it's smart.
Yeah, but yeah, so just to summarize that whole little spiel, um, we've all kind of been disadvantaged about like the buying assets versus liabilities. But now that we've increased our financial awareness, we're coming out of that, and we're seeing all the habits that have turned that we can improve from our parents, so that we can implement that into our lives.
yeah. Definitely another big point is generosity is a big thing in the Filipino culture. We're called to support our family members back in the Philippines because like my dad sends stuff always to his family there. You know, like vitamins, snacks, clothes,
Old phones.
uh, all in the but like buy on box. You know, you
Yeah,
gotta.
Oh,
It's a big
those
thing,
big
man.
ass like.
Yeah.
Why everyone have that in the corner? It's like the rice
Uh,
cooker and then balik bayan box.
nah, you go to Philippine Airlines, LAX, you see like 20 of those
bruh, it was fucking
Yeah, dude.
huge.
stacked, bro.
Y'all know those are all supporting the Cuzos back in the mainland, back in the homeland. I mean,
Dude,
oh man,
Exactly.
oh
So
that's
yeah,
so funny.
you're definitely just trying to provide for others at the same time. That's why that investing in buying assets kind of thing has never really been ingrained, you
Mhm.
know, because it's been out of necessity to support those back in the motherland, because it's still a developing country. You know,
Right, right.
all
Okay,
the
but
cousins out in the jungle climbing coconuts.
that's not how it is in the.
That's how it is, man.
that was little JV, the 6-year-old.
I was a little JV. He's a
Oh
little
my god.
coconut picker.
Bro, all right, coconuts are good, bro. Like
Oh, I
if you're
love
thirsting
coconuts,
for
man.
some coconut juice, like you'll go up there.
Some
All right,
buko,
trust. Yeah,
juice.
that buko juice, man. Oh
Man,
man, but speaking of like coconut stuff, like how is your guys' parents like fitness and like dietary habits? Because like they're kind of whack, bro. They're so whack.
hold on. How do we go from coconuts to
Yeah,
diet?
coconuts.
No, because it got me thinking about food, and I was
Okay,
like,
okay.
yeah, it got me thinking about food
All
and
right.
diet, and then fitness
Yeah.
after that. But
Well,
yeah, Nate,
definitely.
I know you have something to say about this.
Well, for me, my parents try to eat healthy. They actually do eat healthy. They buy a lot of healthy stuff and cook a lot of healthy stuff. Like my parents are really big into hiking and walking and just fitness in general, staying active. But they definitely don't have that education of like how to lose weight properly through caloric deficit. There's just not that education there that they've learned from.
Yeah, yeah.
So they definitely don't know how to lift weights properly in terms of progressing. They don't know how to um, create, behavioral change in their diet that's sustainable. Because they'll be like, oh, let's eat healthy, but then my mom buys a box of Oreos, and then they start eating the Oreos, and they finish the
Yo,
Oreos in one day, and it's like, oh man, we can't eat healthy anymore. So let me buy more Oreos, and then let me go do this hit workout on YouTube. Oh man, but my parents they kill it on Zumba. I'm telling you, they know how to
Oh,
move.
bro. Yes, my mom's always on that Zumba fit, bro. Oh my god. Like she'll get ready and like she'll put on a headband at home and like yoga pants and all that just to get like her 5 minute Zumba class in,
Burning the fat, huh?
Hey, oh, hey, I'm burning the fat here, huh?
I have to get rid of this lechon.
The lab handles. Lab. Oh my god. But yeah, so my parents are like their diet habits are like kind of trash, not gonna lie. And I'm like kind of like this is kind of funny, like, but I'm kind of worried about them because I want them to like live as long as possible. But I don't know, like the Filipino diets and Filipino food in general is just kind of not it in terms of like being conducive to decreasing adiposity. So if you're like, bro, like fucking lechon is like maybe one of the fattest things you can eat, and
Good though.
pork belly, like there's like so much like adobo is just like sitting in its own oil, like you know what I'm saying?
Chicharron.
Yeah, chicharron. It's burnt fucking pig skin, like
Everything is either
not burnt, crispy.
high in fat, high in salt, high in sugar. So you just want to eat that stuff.
High in carbs too, because you always gotta have the rice on the side.
So much rice. So much rice.
I don't know,
but then the protein is like lacking.
That's true. My house is a little different. We on that brown rice gang.
Nice.
We've been on that since like 2000, 2005. I don't even remember eating white rice at home. We're weird like that.
Ooh-wee. I mean,
yeah,
like, for sure, dude. Yeah, but yeah, I'm just so their dietary habits are like really whack and not conducive to living long, not gonna lie. And also their fitness habits are not conducive to longer lifespan because so my mom's pretty good about this just because she has like by the nature of her job being a nurse, she has to walk around a lot at the hospital. So like she sends me her step counts every time she's at work. They're like 15K working days. It's rough. It's really rough. And you know it's not just walking back and forth. Like she's carrying like patients and doing all that. So it's like hard physical labor, honestly, nursing. But whenever she's at home, she's such a homebody that she gets like 20 steps when she's at home.
It's a small.
It doesn't help
spot.
being in like a tiny place too.
Yeah, but like she doesn't like she would occasionally do like her Zumba classes, but that's only if she has like one of those weeks where she has like 3 straight days off. But yeah, like the lifting weights is not really a thing. And my dad is like even worse. Like he has like he doesn't have a lot of steps. He doesn't get a lot of steps. And they don't like exercise. I don't know. Like every time I invite them, like, yo, mom, dad, let's go on a walk. They're just like, later. But later never comes through, you know? And yeah, so like if they don't even like have that drive to like become more physically fit, then of course they're not gonna learn. They're not gonna take the time to learn about all those fitness fundamentals that'll allow you to change your health and physique for the better. So yeah.
Exactly.
What about you, Fadge?
Yeah, like for my parents, like it's pretty similar. Like with like the diet, like their diet definitely isn't the best. Like my mom, she loves like wine, cheese, like all that good stuff right there.
Yeah.
Like my dad likes beer. Like alcohol.
Oh, he's a grill master too.
Barbecue.
King on the grill, my dad.
Barbecue.
Hey, shout out to the Traeger. Shout out to the Traeger.
Yeah,
yo, Traeger sponsor us real quick.
Yeah, honestly, like meal preps. No, honestly, for meal prepping, Traegers would be clutch. Ooh. Okay, anyway, sorry.
Yeah. But like in the past like couple years, like my parents like have like gotten into fitness like a lot more. Like my mom, she goes on like walks like almost every day, and like she does like her like bar method. And like if she can't do both, like she does like either one or the other. My dad, like we got a Peloton this past summer, and like my dad, my mom, my sister, like they all like use it like pretty consistently. Like I always see my dad posting on Instagram, like that he's like doing the Peloton and all that. and my dad like also like he like also like lifts some weights that we have at home. So it's just really good to see them like actually like being more physically active because of course like we all want our parents like to live as long as possible. Um, so like but like I do like want them to get their like diet like on point because like diet like really makes like your fitness like like worth it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that diet part's the hardest part. It's easy to
No,
just
it's so
crush
hard.
a workout, dude. But when you got that bag of Lay's just sit in the corner right there, I'm about to munch on that and
Ooh,
just
so
eat that whole bag up,
easy.
And you won't even
salt
be
and
full.
vinegar, and I won't be full because it doesn't have protein. There's no
Yeah.
fiber, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah,
But dude, like
yeah,
it's a
like
good thing that I feel like there's a trend that as people become more Americanized, because I feel like America or the U.S. has like so there's definitely a portion of the country that's just like, America's fat, but there's also like the complete other end of the spectrum, especially in like the coastal cities, so like L.A., San Diego, like maybe even a little bit in San Francisco, for sure Miami, and like all those coastal cities that like fitness is huge. So like I definitely see, and because like a lot of the Filipinos that I know live in those like coastal cities, that the longer they're exposed to that culture, the more likely they are to take up fitness in some sort of way.
yeah. And there's definitely a socioeconomic barrier to fitness based on where you live. Because definitely people from lower socioeconomic statuses, they got to work long hours, uh, long shifts that are really demanding, and they won't find that time or that energy to learn how to exercise, first of all, and then implement it into their daily life that's sustainable and being able to progress that. So definitely as that does play a factor, and then definitely environment too, where you live, which also ties into socioeconomic status. But living near the coast, having good weather is key to, you know, being active. Uh, Out here in the Central Coast where I'm at, you'll see old people just running around, cycling, surfing. So definitely environment is big, and you got to create that environment. In Atomic Habits, it said something like um, you can't control your environment. Oh no, like something about like you can be the architect of it. You can build your environment. You can remove those negative cues. You can remove those bag of chips in the corner by not buying it next time, making it hard for you to eat those bag of chips and just putting a bag of carrots in the fridge, which makes it easy or to be healthy because you open the fridge, ooh, bag of carrots, I'm gonna eat that. So it's all about behavioral change, I feel, when it comes to the diet and exercise, in addition to education and
Yeah,
your environment. Yeah.
100%. And like, why would you? You're already working against your um, human, like your predispositions as a human, like as an animal, to eat as much as possible so that like you're surviving, right? Because back in the good old days, like food was not guaranteed. You could be dead tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
That's why,
So
yeah, you had to just, whenever there was food, you had to feast and get that dopamine
exactly.
release. And that was that's still ingrained in our evolutionary pathway
So
as
yeah,
current human beings.
yeah, but tying it back into Nathan's point, so why would you? 'Cause you're already at a disadvantage. Why would you disadvantage yourself even more by creating an environment that's not conducive to your goals? So yeah, like having chips around, um, like stuff like having like bottles of Coke that you can just consume, like liquid calories,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So like just make your environment as conducive to your goal as possible.
Yeah. Basically, what I do, because I know I have an addictive personality and I'll just eat all the snacks that there is. Uh, I basically don't buy snacks and I buy only food that you have to put together with and cook with in order to eat, make satiable or good. So if I'm lazy and I feel hungry, I'm not gonna go eat because I don't want to make that thing.
Right. And
'cause it
sometimes
takes
you're
too
just
long.
bored. You're not even hungry.
Yeah.
You're just bored.
Yeah, you're
So,
just bored, dude. So
Yeah.
by not having snacks around, it makes it harder on me to eat. So
Yeah.
that's
So
something
just like
I've
for me,
implemented.
yeah. So for me, like the only food that I have that's not readily consumable, like so all my food pretty much you have to like spend an hour cooking, and the only thing that I have that's not like that is my protein shake. And that's like not the most palatable thing, so I'm not gonna go there and like drink the whole bag in one sitting, you know. So
yeah, I mean, same. Like at this point, like since I'm in college, I have more uh, access to, like just cook like everything. Like I don't have to like rely on my parents or anything. 'Cause, like when I'm home, like my diet is just complete trash, and
so
I know
bad.
you guys
Nate,
know.
oh my god, yo,
It's
Nate and I would have conversations like, yo, I'm eating like 5,000 calories a day at home.
Yeah, easily.
Oh man,
And the thing is, I feel like when you're at home, you're kind of forced. Like your parents are like, "Oh, there's food," you know.
yeah,
I feel like there's just food everywhere, and especially in Filipino culture. What my dad said when he goes back home, all they do is eat all day, dude. Because there's just like every 2 hours, there's gonna be a meal. You
oh
know?
yeah, 5 meals a day.
Yeah, you go to a Filipino party, bro. There's like
oh my god,
100,000 calories worth of food there, dude. Like
easily,
just the pig
easily.
is like 25,000, bro.
Yeah, and that shit is like
Crazy.
gone, like that's to the bone, bro. Like at the end. So yeah, so it's just definitely like the culture itself is just high calorie um,
Yeah.
foods that you know that makes us at it that makes it so that we're at a disadvantage in the U.S. because like those foods in the Philippines are like kind of rare, like the highly palatable foods. Like it's not as prevalent as it is not easy to access as it is here in the U.S. So given the like free reign where you can like go to any store and like buy all the most palatable things in the world, like of course there's gonna be like there's an obesity problem in the Filipino population because of that. I'm living proof.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Boy,
Big boy.
big
Yo, did you
boy.
guys know I'm actually like in terms of BMI, I'm like obese as fuck.
Right now?
Yeah. I'm like
Yeah,
because I'm like
I'm
180
overweight.
right now at 5'6". But I don't know, man. I'm looking like I'm pretty alright. You know what I'm
How
saying? I'm
heavy are
pretty
you right
alright.
now?
Huh?
How heavy are you right now?
Like around 180. And on
Thank
purpose
you.
this time, not on accident. Oh man.
Dang.
All right, y'all got any last words though? Like this was a good episode, honestly.
Love our culture.
No, that's about it, man. Shout out to the Filipinos. Shout out
Yeah.
to Wawawi, TFC, Eat Bulaga. Shout out to Kare Kare, my favorite dish.
Dang, bro.
Shout out to
Tito
Vanessa
boy.
Hudgens, Mexicano
Tito boy
Filipino.
right here. Listen to Tito boy. No, but yeah, so just to like summarize it, I feel like so growing up Filipino definitely has its advantages and disadvantages, but that at the end is of benefit to us just because we can take all the things that work and apply it into our own lives, but in reverse, like inversion type thinking, where we think, what don't we want to do? We can see some of those habits that we don't want to do in our parents. So it like doubly sets us up for how we're going to execute to gain the lives that we want. So yeah.
Awesome.
Peace out, everyone. That was a good episode.
All right.
Let's go. Pinoy boys forever.
Sure.
Filipino pride. Peace out.
Manny Pacquiao.